I would like to introduce our first speaker for this afternoon. Leo Levitt, who I mentioned, is the chairman of the ONVIF Steering Committee. Leo has spent many years in the technology, innovation, and product management fields. Beginning with a master's degree in electronic engineering, his professional career has included multiple positions in several multinational companies such as Ericsson and Sony. During Leo's 20-plus year career, he was contributed to technology adoption in the telecommunications, security, and video analytics field. In addition to his role at ONVIF, Leo is currently Director of Systems Integration at Axis Communications. So welcome, Leo, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Neil.
So I have some questions for Leo. We'll get to those any minute now. If anybody who's attending today has a question for Leo at any point, just there's a little Q&A tab. You can open that up and type in your question. I'll keep an eye on those as we go and perhaps save those for the end. So maybe, Leo, I just want to kick us off. Can you tell us a bit about ONVIF's role in the security industry for those who aren't initiated in that, and then tell us a bit more about how you became part of ONVIF?
Thank you for the question. So ONVIF is a member-driven standardization organization active in the video security industry. So our role in the industry is to specify interfaces between IP-based components in the system, such as cameras or access control devices, and on the receiving part, BMS or NVR or other system that would like to receive the information from video surveillance units. The organization has been started in 2008. It's actually a quite long time for a standardization organization to be alive, which I think we're extremely proud of. And the organization has been founded at that point of time by Axis Communications, Bosch, and Sony. And it quickly became the standard for the security industry when it comes to video communication between products in the system and for access control. I think if we look at the development of the organization of the period of that 15 plus years or 16 plus years, we have today around 500 members around the world. We as an organization are open to all organizations, all companies, all enterprises. And I think one of the interesting matrices that we follow in our development is a number of conformant products, basically the number of products that comply with the requirements that we specify in our work. And we're today over 31,000 conformant products. I just checked an hour before our call today. And it's very impressive to see how many vendors are investing in conformance with the ONVIF standards. And my story in ONVIF is actually, as you mentioned, I'm coming from Axis, and I work at Axis Communications. And Axis is one of the founding members. I've always had a very active role in the organization. So I get involved in the steering committee some years ago, and based on ONVIF election process, I've been elected as the chair of the steering committee. So it's as easy as that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So you and I met about a year ago at IC West in Las Vegas, and we talked at the time about a cloud specification that ONVIF was working on. So it's been almost a year since then. So can you sort of update us on what that means and how a cloud-based specification would be beneficial to both installers who install and integrate security technology and the end users who are ultimately the beneficiaries of it?
Yeah. So the development process or specification development process in ONVIF have multiple steps. The first step is what we discussed last year at IC West, and this is the specification development. So basically, the development of the core specification for the communication protocols between different products in the security system. And all of that is very good. It's everybody can implement it. What we're working on now is what we call a profile. So basically a subset of the specifications packaged together with the test cases, certification processes, development of the test tools, etc., for the vendors to be able to do a self-certification, or as we call conformance testing of their products, to be able to comply with the requirements. So we're at the final stage of the specification process. The profile work is ongoing. It's very difficult today to say when exactly we're going to release it, but it's the work has started and progressing actually according to the original ONVIF time plans. So we will see a cloud profile from ONVIF specifying communication from mostly focusing on the video part at the moment, focusing on specifying communication from camera towards cloud-based VMSs. This is kind of primarily the use case at the moment. And how it will benefit integrators and end users. I mean, it will benefit in exactly the same way as majority of the work that specification standardization organizations are doing. It's defining the common way of communicating between different parts of the system, not locking into a very specific vendor, and creating an open infrastructure, open system to be able to integrate with other systems, other products as the needs of the enterprises changes over time, or for integrators to be able to pick components from wider variety of vendors to fulfill their end customer needs. So I think it's the cloud profile work as it comes for the benefits, it's not different. It's addressing a different use case, but the benefits are the same. It's openness, it's open infrastructure, no vendor lock-in. So this is the core values that we're trying to deliver to the market.
Okay, thank you. Another big topic that's been in the surveillance industry for a couple of years and seems to have heated up in the last couple is the growing role of AI and analytics. It's something that the panel this afternoon will also be looking at, but maybe we can just talk about it from an ONVIF point of view, how it's affecting both surveillance and access control technology. And then, yeah, maybe a second point to that question would be, are there any dangers posed by AI? Does it present any problems, attack vectors, etc.? So maybe can we talk about the positive security industry developed applications of AI, and then any potential dangers that are coming in from the attack side?
I think it's a great question. If we look at the history of security industry, we've been utilizing the capabilities provided by artificial intelligence for a very long time. So we have a lot of different applications based on different type of technology that could be grouped together as artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., etc. And if you remember some years ago, one of the biggest buzzwords in all the trade shows was analytics. Mm-hmm. Analytics for everything. And a lot of those applications are based on the technologies that we today call artificial intelligence to some degree. And it's been a fantastic boost to the technology for the greater good of the society, utilizing advancement of the technologies in different fields, in the hardware, but also in software, to be able to offer the solution for those use cases. And it's really been very interesting to follow the development of the technology, starting from very early adopters trying to solve some very niche use cases, to the wider adoption on the market, where we probably see majority of the modern installations include some parts of this technology in the analytics applications, or in some more advanced forensic search functions, or in access control. So we see it everywhere. And with this explosive pace of development, we also see a growing need for finding a common interface to transmit all this massive amount of data that generated by the sensors that become smarter and smarter and produce more and more data. And the systems that want to use this data. So there is a need of common interface, and only first attempt to specify that is done with the Profile M, where we did the specifications for analytics event and metadata. And it's been a very interesting thing to monitor the number of conformant devices for the Profile M specifically after we published it, because it's been the fastest growing adoption of the profile if we look at the number of conformant products. It's been really exponential growth, kind of manifesting that the importance of standardization of the data transmitted from the analytics sensors based on artificial intelligence technology. And it's only continuing. So there's a lot of discussion in ONVIF now how we will work further with artificial intelligence and those applications, how the metadata should be defined, and how we will describe the objects in the future, maybe not only in the frame, but in a wider perspective of digital twins. So it's a lot of work going on. And again, all of this work is driven by our members. So it's not like ONVIF is getting to a meeting and deciding what we're going to work on next. It's really driven from the members, and the members are getting this demand and getting this pull from their customers, from the market. So we're reacting to what market want to have. If market demands standardization within certain interfaces, this is where we're addressing at the moment and going forward as well. But as you say, Neil, it's really two sides of the same coin. AI been fantastic for covering multiple use cases, and I think we just tapped this territory. It will continue to grow, but it also has drawbacks. Not technology as such, but the use of it. Technology is always good, right? But in some cases, the use of the technology presents some risks for the system as such. So if we take a look at what happens now, and what the biggest discussion we have is impact of generative AI. And it's a great technology. It makes life easier in a lot of cases and provides fantastic support. But now it's easier than ever with very accessible tools to fake video, right? So we've seen a lot of fun videos on the internet, deep fakes as we call them. In some cases, they're ridiculous, and it's very easy to spot that those videos are faked. But if we look at the security industry and see how that could manifest in our environment, we will see that it will be very easy to actually tamper with the surveillance video. And if that happens, if that becomes widely used or kind of jeopardized, we will lose the trust in the whole video as a product of the surveillance system. The whole purpose of the security installation is to prevent fraud, but also to investigate when it's happened. And if you cannot use video content recorded by your cameras to prove something happened, it will be very difficult to continue to keep trust in the video. So I think this is the reason why ONVIF started to work with what we called video signing initiative. So this is a specification that we've been working on, and I hope it will result some kind of profile or add-on where for end customer it will be possible to, at any given point of time, to validate whether the video recorded from the actual sensor haven't been tampered with on the whole path towards the viewing application. And again, it's as a result of growing adoption of generative AI applications, there is some risk that we're trying to counteract. But the technology as such is fantastic. I mean, it's been great for our industry, and it's generating massive growth in the industry because system integrators and vendors are able to solve more and more use cases for end customers. We like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember probably, I don't know, about a dozen years ago, there was a lot of talk about analytics, and then it kind of went away for a little while as people started to realize that maybe the technology wasn't quite ready for the industry. But I don't know, maybe the last 5 or 7 years, it's really it's really accelerated quickly, and it's changing the way that people use cameras and see cameras, and not just for security purposes, but as you say, like a sensor that can be applied to many different kinds of applications.
And I think there is another component to that. It's not only that, of course, technology became mature, but a lot of vendors started to add the hardware that really support the execution of those more advanced algorithms in the camera as such. So it really becomes AI sensor. So it's both technologies and the wider development, but also availability of the hardware that is capable of running that type of algorithms.
So are you making a distinction between AI and Gen AI within the standard?
No, we don't. We focus mostly on what is produced. We focus mostly on the payload.
Okay.
What it really generates. What's the product of the algorithm? What type of data it produces, and how we can describe it so that receiving part will understand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, this is obviously a technology that's going to continue to shape the industry, and I think people are very interested to see where it will take us next. So you mentioned that ONVIF has been around since 2008, which feels like a long time in some ways. I started at SB&T News in 2007, so I remember when it was announced, and I remember the three companies, the joint announcement that they made about the creation of ONVIF, and obviously things of this industry has changed an awful lot in those, 15 plus years. But can you maybe sort of talk a bit about how the way integrators and end users are using the standard or contributing to the standard over that period of time? Because the industry has come a long way in those intervening years.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to get back to the fact that we are a member-driven organization. So the industry affects us directly because all of the vendors that are part of the organization have a direct input from the market, from their customers, from their channel, from their users. And they convey that through their participation in the organization to the working group, to the committees. And that definitely affects how we plan our work going forward, how we plan our structure, how we plan our initiatives and communication. I think if we look over those 15 years or 16 years of the history of ONVIF, it gained a lot of attention from the system integrators and architects and engineering community. So for them, it becomes a go-to, easier way of securing that the system have a possibility to grow. That if you need to develop your system over time, adding additional components, if the system as such, based on the open interfaces and the products on the market support those interfaces, it's kind of insurance policy that the system can grow together with your user needs if they evolve over time. And this understanding on the market definitely took time to explain and educate the market, that everybody understand why we're doing that and why it's good. But I think this level of understanding and acceptance have been really exponentially growing over the last 15 years. And today we see in a lot of tenders on the market, we really see that only been specified as a mandatory requirement for the vendors to comply with. And I think it's great because it's provide this freedom to end customer. It gives massive flexibility for the integrators because they can pick components from several vendors. And for the vendors, it's been great because they have a great forum to discuss with their peers. And it's very interesting to follow the dynamics of the discussion in the organization, because a lot of people that come in there represents actually competing organizations. But they're getting together to agree and discuss on the future of the specifications, because they understand that will grow the total market and they will get their share back. So I think it's been a fantastic ride to join, and it's continue to really evolve in the very open, transparent, and consensus-driven way. So very interesting to follow.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about the types of companies that have become members or contributors to ONVIF? Like, it started, I guess, originally as a more sort of surveillance focus and has broadened its scope based on how the industry has viewed different technologies and the integration of all of those technologies into a security solution, a more comprehensive view of the industry. But can you talk a little bit about the types of companies and individuals that are joining ONVIF or have in the last few years?
So actually, it's as you said, it started to solve a very specific problem. So basically, video surveillance cameras and VR, so VMSs, didn't really understand each other. It was a massive amount of proprietary interfaces, and it's created a lot of issues for VMS manufacturers because they had to write specific drivers for every vendor and every product. And that's actually slowed down their development and slowed down the industry. So from the beginning, it was very focused on solving that specific use cases. And the type of members that join is actually the members who would love to benefit from this common interface. And it's a lot of camera manufacturers, it's a lot of VMS manufacturers and VR manufacturers. But if we look at the current member base, it's a lot of different companies. We have, of course, dominated by device and VMS manufacturers. We have access control device and system manufacturers. We have system integrators of different scale. We even have distributors that would like to see how they can provide value-added services on top of the physical distribution. So we have some organization that we collaborate with. So it's really very, very broad spectrum of different type of companies and businesses that joining us. Okay,
thank you. Maybe we can talk a bit about what else is coming up for ONVIF. I know open source is another one of the focal points for ONVIF, and the number of, as you mentioned, the number of conformant products seems to keep growing year after year. But aside from things we've already talked about, like cloud and AI, can you tell us a bit more about what the focus is for ONVIF going forward?
Yeah. So today, you mentioned open source, and that's actually a very interesting topic. Since a couple of years back, we started to develop our specifications in open source. So it's available for everybody. And I think if we talk about open standards, you cannot do your development isolated. You need to be open and transparent, and everybody should be able to use it. And the all specification, I mean, core specification development is done and in GitHub and open for everybody to look into and understand how is that done. But I think we're going to the next step now, and when we talk about video authenticity or the project that we are working on now, that will also have open source part in it, because ONVIF will for the first time provide reference implementation for the both signing part but also for validation part. So device manufacturer or VMS manufacturer or whoever else that want to implement sign video will be able to get access to open source library to use it to kind of shorten the development time to the market. But and the same goes for the validation part. It will be provided as open source, to be very transparent and really show that's how we validate the video. And it's becoming more and more instrumental for our development to really work as a open source project, because it's first of all, it gets a lot of transparency, and with transparency comes trust, which is very important in our industry. But it also gets us access to the wider range of developers that want to contribute. So it's the contribution through open source is open to everybody. So you can submit your pull request, and then it will be reviewed, and if all good, it will be integrated in the specifications. So what else is on the radar? Well, as we said, video signing is coming along. The work is ongoing. We started some initiative some year back working on audio profile. So very similar use cases we had when ONVIF started, but for audio devices. So now we have IP audio that actually starting to really reach the maturity and acceptance on the market. And it's been there for a while, but it's now starting to get to the certain threshold where there is a need for much more open connectivity towards video management systems or other systems. So the work is ongoing to provide audio profile for the connectivity of audio devices and security system. We also started work to specify more advanced metadata, describing the object, describing the scene, describing relations between different objects, etc. So this work is much more forward-looking. So it's no profile or add-on planned at the moment, but it's more core work going forward. How we would like to work with those technologies in the future. So I think this is what we have on the plate at the moment, and I really hope that we will see new ONVIF profiles and add-ons coming both this and next year.
Okay, thank you. Maybe in the last couple of minutes we have left, could you talk a bit about how security industry folks or from all sides of the industry can get involved with ONVIF, can stay in touch and sort of help contribute to the standard?
So we're trying to post a lot of information on our website. It's onvif.org. So if you want to know anything about ONVIF, we also have some basic education package, of course, that you could take. It's obviously free of charge. That's available on our website. If you want to join us and participate in the discussions, you're very welcome to do so. The application information and all the forms and all the rules and regulations about that is also available openly on the website. I think one topic that I would like to kind of highlight when we're talking about our website is the open database of all the conformant products. So if you are a system integrator and you want to know whether this product with this software version really supports Profile S or Profile T or M, whatever it might be, you can easily access this information on ONVIF website, get the information about the device, know exactly what version did the certification, how it's working, the features that support, the features are not supported, etc., etc. So I think it's a very useful tool that helps integrators quite a lot in designing the system. And we, as I mentioned, open to all the enterprises and the organizations on different membership levels, and you can very easily apply on our website for the participation. I'm more than happy to join the discussion.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you, Leo. Yeah, appreciate your time today. It's always good to catch up, and I've enjoyed our chats over the years. So thank you very much for your time today, and we wish you well.
Thank you.